All right, what's up, guys? So I put myself up in the corner because there's a lot going on here. I took a little time to try to figure out exactly how I was going to wire this. I also flipped the guitar around that way, the light's pointed directly at it, and you guys aren't looking, way over here. You can't see where I'm pointing, but basically, where the neck of the guitar is, that's where it would have been. So yeah, kind of fix that too. So this here. All right, zoomed in for you guys. So this here is my body ground wire, okay? And it is quite short. It would have been fine if I was still using this other pot hole here. But as we know, I'm deleting that pothole, and now that's going to be the pothole, which you guys probably can't see for the shadow. So this is, it ain't going to reach. Now, could I just connect another wire to this and extend it out? Yes. But then we run into problem numero dos. So as I drop my makeshift wire, so this is the 3-point switch, or wow, is the the CTS pot we're going to use, right? So as you can see, you cannot just put stuff on the bottom. This is plastic. That ain't going to work. So the only place I really have to ground are these edges here. And it's not going to work to have to put all this different stuff on there. If you've never wired a guitar before, there's what, 5 wire, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I was right. 5 wires that I'm going to have to put to the back of this. I'm not going to do all that. So I'm going to do something you have probably, actually maybe even 6. I think I forgot the switch in that count. I'm going to do something you've probably never seen anyone do before. So I made a couple of ground wires that we are going to use. Oh my God, why did I put the camera right there? Because apparently I keep going there. Let me move me over here. Close enough. Actually, you know what? Let me make me smaller. That'd probably work a little better. You guys don't want to see me that big anyway. All right. So I have made a couple of wires. So this is going to connect to the back of the pot here. Somewhere in there. I'll trim it if I need to. And then it's going to go, if I can get the light in there, it's going to connect right here to this lug. Hopefully. Sorry. Let me just try to, yeah, it's going to connect to that lug there. All right. I also made this wire, which this side is going to connect into the lug like a so. And then this wire like that, basically, and then to the back of this. The jack is still going to go on like normal because that's not really going to get in the way, I don't think. Yeah. So the jack's still going to go on the side, on this side of the pot. Because this lead, actually, no, that's not going to work. Well, I could probably trim that out. Because this lead here, this white wire for the jack is going to need to go right there. But also it's going to need to, yeah, I'm going to do something with that. So I'll figure that out. Maybe even run a wire for it. And then pull that off. So why I did this way, I'm going to connect the pickups and the 3-way switch wire ground to right here. And then the body is going to go there on the end. And so instead of extending this wire out and then running all of them to one little spot. Now, again, if I had the bottom of an output jack, I would have no problem doing that. That's exactly what I would do. I would just extend that wire out and I'd be square. And then, do like I said, I got to cut the jack a little bit to make it work. But other than that, that would be it. Actually, no, I guess I have to cut it. I would just have to find a way. So that's going to have to go on there too, now that I think about it. So I'm going to have to put all that together, all that ground together and solder. Oh my God, I can't even show you guys the pot. So yeah, the ground for this, this, and this is all going to go to this one area, which isn't a big deal. Don't make me make it sound like it is. It's not, but that's what's going to have to happen. Now, let's also discuss what I'm going to do with the wiring of this, because if you try looking this up, there is nothing. So I have basically had to sit down and figure out exactly how I was going to wire this. So what happens is, don't worry. So basically the wires are going to go in here, but don't worry about this because if you're looking at this way, it just looks confusing. Basically, you're looking at, let me get something to point with. Basically, you're looking at this here. So this is a double pole, double throw, but we are only going to be using one side. So basically, I'm going to wire in the down position, right? So that's up, that's down. This is connected. So this is your common, right? This now is connected to this. What is that? 2? Yeah, 2 is connected to C1. When I pull it up, C1 is connected to 1. So I'm going to wire the red wire here, the hot wire of my single coil, to this here, to number 1. So it's going to go in that hole. I'm going to wire the middle lug of the 3-way switch to number 2. Right? So it's going to go in that hole. The reason I'm going to do that is when this is in the down position, I want the humbuckers to work on the 3-way switch like normal. When this is in the up position, it cuts the humbuckers completely off. By the way, if you wanted to make a kill switch for your guitar, this is how you would do it. You just wouldn't have the single coil or any other pickup, for that matter, connected to 1. Just as soon as you pull up, boom, you have no volume. In my case, I wanted to activate the single coil. Okay, so in the up position, the humbuckers are off, the single coil is on. So this has to connect to C1, and that's going to be what makes the volume work. If you don't connect these 3, if you don't connect, for example, if I didn't put this to C1, you have to understand the pot and this switch are not connected unless you connect them. That's what we're doing with here to C1. If I don't do that, I'm going to turn this up and I'm not really going to have any sound because nothing's connected to the pickups. This has nothing to do with this. All right, just FYI. So you have to connect it somehow from here to there. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to put that wire, going to connect from there to C1, and then boom, now we have a volume. Output jack there. You could flip these. So put the output jack here and the and C1 here. It would have a difference in the volume. I found that I like it the other way, the way that I specified. I want to say it's been a while since I've wired a guitar that way. I think it I think maybe it takes more treble off. So if doing it with single coils actually isn't that bad of an idea. But doing it with humbuckers, it makes them quite dark, I think. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. Because like I said, I haven't wired one that way in a long time. Even like without a 3-way or a push-pull pot, just a regular pot, I still wire it that way. I wire the output for the middle and then, a switch operating the pickups to this lug here. Hopefully you saw that. Okay. So yeah, I am going to heat up the iron and we'll get started. Okay. I will see you guys back in a bit. All right, the iron is clean and tinned, and we are ready. I made my makeshift red wire. Oh, I am going to have to change the camera angle. My fault. All right, I just want to move the guitar out for now because we're just soldering these. And that's actually what I was about to say. I would recommend you guys do everything you can that outside of the guitar, instead of, if I go ahead and put this in and let's say wire the pickups up, now I'm kind of stuck. So let's see what we can get done outside of the guitar and then move to the end. So I did make a makeshift, my little red wire that's going to connect C1 to that first lug. So let's see And my iron is 10 and ready. So let's see what kind of damage we can do. All right. You know what? I thought I was ready. So I'm just gonna kind of bend that back a little bit. Okay. All right, there we go. All right. So there's the first piece. Bring your solder. Since that one's good, now we're going to move this up here. Well, luckily, this won't. I can't really move anywhere, so I got that going for me. All right, nice and shiny. We like shiny. Shiny's good. All right, so now those two are connected. And now we got to do the grounds. So I am going to do this one first. All right. Now, it's definitely going to be easier if I pre-tin this. All right. Well, there we go. And now I'm going to move this around here. Says, you know, I have a clamp somewhere, I think, in my my other house. So it really come in handy about now. Even then, I don't know if it would work, to be honest with you, but I would like to try. Or another set of hands. Another set of hands would work too. Actually, I might be able to do it this way. Yeah, I think that'll work. maybe that, and there. There we go. Now we're cooking with grease. Make your puddle first, and then attach your wire. Oh, tin your wire, of course, too. But all right. All right, so now all of that grounding is done. Our C1 is done. So yeah, we're definitely going to want to do 1 first and then 2. I should have made sure that, well, you guys can't see, sorry. I should have made sure that this red wire was hanging over this way. So now it's going to be kind of hard to get in there to get number 1. You guys can see that. There we go. Move towards the light, DA. Yeah, so I'm going to have to like get down in there with the 1 wire. Now, luckily, it's a small wire. It's not a huge deal, especially as long as I pre-tin it, it'll be fine. Worst case scenario, I'll take the C1 out and then re-put the C1 back in. Not a big deal. But all right. So now our pot there is done. So we can move on to the next thing, which for you guys will be here in a few moments. For me, it will be tomorrow because I have to go start dinner. All right. So we are at the point now where we are going to put our 3-way switch into the pot. All right. So if you recall, we're going to put this, the red wire of the switch, because remember this, if you don't know how the switch operates, feel free, take one of these out and just look at it. It's very simple design, really. But, when you push this one way, it connects. So since it's up this way, right, it connects this to this. So that's all you're doing. You have to look in the middle here. I'm not going to be able to really show that. But what this is doing is instead of connecting, believe it or not, it's disconnecting. So there's a little plastic piece down in there. So when I push this way, it pushes this prong away from the connection. Stand up so you guys can see. It pushes this prong away from the connection. And as I go the other way, now it pushes this prong away from the connection. I don't know if I can get that so you guys can see it or not. Right? So it's very simple design, similar to a light switch. All you're doing when you flip on and off a light switch is you're either connecting the wires or disconnecting the wires. Okay, so we are going to put this. Remember, we want this to operate when the switch is down. We want the humbuckers active. So as we look at our things here, we're going to go 2. Oh no, we're not going to connect this yet. Because if I did, it's going to be a real pain to get in there and get that single pole into the 1. So we're going to have to do that first. Okay, well, we can at least connect the ground wire. So we'll solder the ground wire here, and then we'll have to actually start putting this in the guitar. That's simple. All right. Do a pull test. Make sure it's connected good. Doesn't take a lot. It's kind of one of the beauties of solder, as long as everything's properly tinned and everything. All right. Now I think we are ready to bring the guitar back up here. Do a little bit of test fitting. Just going to put that wire in there. All right. That should do it. Hopefully I was in a position where you guys could see. Looks like not. If so, sorry about that. All right. So now we can connect the switch. All right. That's going to work perfect. Perfect. So basically I filled the hole in is what's happening. And then now I'm going to touch this with the pre-tinned wire, touch the solder to it, and it'll just kind of melt into it. I realize you guys aren't going to be able to see that. Sorry about that. There we go. Amazing. There we go. All right. All right. So now we can connect this guy. So this is where this is going to be difficult. Actually, no, not really. So what I'm going to do, luckily I left this little leg out here. That wasn't by design, but I'll take it. So because this is going to get connected to here, right? That's my screwdriver. So you guys can see. This is going to get connected to there for the output of the lug. And then my ground is going to swing around and connect to there. Hopefully there's enough room for that. All right. And then swing this around. I said, give you guys another little piece of advice here. You might not do the prettiest solder jobs, but similar to welding, just because it ain't pretty don't mean it don't work. Don't get me wrong, I prefer pretty. So neck should go to this one, bridge should go to this one. Sorry. Neck should go to this side, bridge should go to, and look, it's, you just got to remember it's reverse. So, but even if you don't, if you mess it up and it goes the other way, guess what? All you got to do is turn your switch around if you have enough lead for that. And a Les Paul, it's a lot more difficult just because due to the little, you know, hole that you're trying to put it through and everything. That one you definitely want to get right. But yeah, when it's up like this, it disconnects this side. So that means I want the bridge connected to that side. Because you got to think when the guitar flipped the other way, this is going to be up. So that's why I want it on the neck. So yeah. All right. All right. I'll flip it over. All right. Now for the fun part. Connecting grounds. All right. So we're going to put this there. Put our washer. Sorry, you guys can't see. You still can't see. But washer. I'm not going to tighten this down because I'm not looking to get it fully seated yet. Just wanted enough to hold it in place. You know, I'm about to put something underneath this. I'm going to have to, I got to test fit that switch. So yeah, we're going to connect this to here, and then we're going to see if maybe we have enough room that we can push this back and still connect these other grounds. So first, Let's see if we can get these two wired together. All right. Twist these together. So this is the ground for the single coil, if you guys recall, and the body ground. All right. Now we're going to connect that to this. Let's pre-tin our copper here. All right. Okay. Oh. All right. Whew, we are ready for a sound check. All right, so I've done the test here just so if it didn't work, I could get all my profanity out, not on camera. Remember how I told you guys that I had done a pot once and I had wired it backwards? I did it again. So in the what you would think is on 10 this way. Oh, you can't see my hand. What you would think is on 10 this way is now all the way off. And if I turn it all this way, I have power. Everything else works great. So neck pickup, down position. We have neck, nothing. Up position. So yeah. All in all, pretty good.